Well, hello and welcome to this week's Pastor Capture. I am Pastor Tammy Palermo, and here is Pastor Steve Stoltz Costello and Pastor Ivy Smith. And I am just going to say thank you for all the prayers last week. I am doing way, way better, but I know that it was through a lot of prayer. I could feel it. It was pretty awesome. So thank you. So this past Sunday, I'll just start with the children have been in the book of Acts. They talked about the choosing of the seven, and they continue to have a great time down there. So if you have kids and want to come, we welcome you to be part of it. We had I think a record number of helpers this week. Like 15 folks helping with Sunday school between both hours. So that was really, really awesome. So let's talk about what happened in worship. So
I watched Ivy's online. Ivy was in the modern service.
And I watched you.
You watched me, and I watched you.
I was blessed to get to go to both services.
Yeah. I saw Tammy up in the balcony there, and she was cheering me on. I was kidding. But yeah, this Sunday we had our third week in our series. Time is flying.
It is flying.
It is.
This is us being United Methodist.
We share core beliefs.
Core beliefs, and Ivy
with other Christians.
You have I've heard it said in seminary that every preacher has one sermon. You know, and every no matter how much we slice and dice
it is.
And you can't get a better message. But every week I hear in your message the recurring theme that God loves you, and that we're called to love others, and just share that. And you brought that out as one of the real central core things. You know, that I think the frame you said is everybody is God's somebody.
Yes,
and,
everybody's God's somebody.
And we're called to give that light from John's Gospel, chapter 1. Jesus is the light of the world.
So I think that came out in your message too, of the whole story you told about the old turtle, about how everybody's part, whether it was the mountain or the stars or the ants or the, all the different animals, saying, how important they are and what they see God being, but then turn it around that, they all end up seeing God the way that the other person.
I'm grateful for these wonderful authors of children's stories.
Yes.
Old turtle.
I couldn't help it. I felt a little bad that I was kind of stealing that a little bit, but I gave credit. But
you did give credit.
But check out that book. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I really appreciated that you pointed out that what the word ecumenical meant. All denominations that come under the umbrella of Christian faith.
Right.
I thought that was really important. One of the things I like about this series is that not only are we preaching, but we're also teaching.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes we forget, and we all have things to learn. I
think that kind of came out in both of our messages that I even said, I'm not sure if I'm really preaching to you today, if I'm like giving you a lecture or, whatever, but I want you to leave, knowing that.
I like how you do that. That's consistent too, Ivy. You'll at the end of everything, I want you to leave here today,
knowing something, whatever I said.
Yeah, whatever.
The point is this, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's God inspired, but
good.
And I think that with this past week's overarching theme for This Is Us being like, what do we as all Christians believe? And you pointed out we all believe in the triune God,
right?
Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer. I loved how you used parent, child, and energy. I thought that was really cool. Energy.
I heard that energy.
Chalk that up to the energy itself.
The energy, yes. But all of it comes back to that relationship.
Yes.
The relationship with God and with one another, and that love of God and love for one another. So I think that's all really good. But then it's how we respond to the love.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Is what we do as praise is in response of how you just can't contain it.
Right.
You just can't keep it in. It's not like it's a secret or something that you just hold.
That's the best.
But it's just spontaneous. It just happens that God blesses you to be a blessing.
Right.
Thank you.
And that's very much a Methodist thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was brought to my attention when we debriefed this morning. We have a meeting on Tuesday mornings. At 9 o'clock, I mentioned Tyler Merritt and his viral video that came out a few years ago before he called the cops, and I said I'd put that in there. And then I didn't mention at 11. So if you don't know what I'm talking, go back. We're going to put it in the description for this video. So check that out. It's really powerful.
One day we'll get 11 and 9 o'clock to get the same
Yeah, maybe.
message.
You have to come to all 4 services.
There you
Right.
go, there you go. Yeah,
To
yeah,
get
yeah.
everything.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, looking ahead
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
Sunday school, we're going to delve into the story of Tabitha and Peter.
Okay.
Did you know there's a
Ooh.
woman named Tabitha in the
Tabitha.
Bible? Isn't that
Nice.
cool? Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't
What's-
heard her in a long time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we're going to talk about that. And what's,
We'll be talking about Hebrews. Hebrews, which is 12, 1 and 2.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
the saints and the story.
The
There's
great
a
cloud of witnesses.
cloud of witnesses. So our theme is we are shaped by our story, and so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the history and great stories that have shaped United Methodism, John Wesley, and early bishops, and the early
Right.
movement, and the circuit riders. Yes. Also, this chapter, if you haven't picked up a book, we've now had about 50 books picked up.
Nice.
And many are in the class. Some of you are just reading. And I'm
Tuesday
finding
at
it to be
6:30?
really, yeah. And it's interesting the timing of things. I just want to say thank you to Pastor Tammy. It was your idea to do this series, and you thought of that like back in I think December.
Tammy.
But the timing is perfect. This week at General Conference, our second and last week at General Conference, and they are perhaps even at this moment, as for all I know, bringing to vote a decision about whether or not to change the church's current stance on LGBTQI plus. And really that came up in the chapter. So I'm not sure if that will make it in our sermons or how that will work on that. But anyway, it's just interesting the timing of all of that.
Yes. Please be in prayer.
Be in prayer.
Definitely be in prayer about everything. I
And be
mean,
in
all the
prayer.
time.
Prayer's good.
right?
Always.
Prayer's good.
Pray
Prayer's
without
good.
ceasing.
So we would always love for you to join us in person, but we also like it when you like, share, and subscribe our videos and to share about this awesome faith community at Mentor United Methodist. You can join us in person at 9 and or 11 a.m. in both modern and traditional, or if you prefer online worship, 9 modern, 11 traditional. Sunday school is offered at both hours. We have a great fellowship in between, or I should say after both services. In between is fun because there's usually folks coming in or
Yeah.
going out. So
Yeah.
Right.
we just would love to see you in person and to just join us for this awesome faith community that we have. And we just thank you for watching this week's
Pastor Capture.